I'm Meteorologist Chris Bruin here in my hometown. Unfortunately, we're seeing just total destruction in some homes, especially like this one behind me. I'm going to kind of show you around, but take a look at the sky. Just a little ray of hope here amidst such destruction. And being from Naples, you know, I've always seen tornado damage, and I've always seen what hurricanes can do, but you never really think it's going to hit your hometown. And then one day it does, and it is heartbreaking. I did stop by my parents' house, and we'll have some footage of that later. Thankfully, the house is intact and livable. They probably are going to need a new roof, but if that's the worst, we're grateful. It's sad to see palm trees like this one behind me totally stripped from its palm fronds and just barren here amidst such devastation. But take a look around me. I want to show you this house here that we're looking at, and just a total loss here. Look at this, folks, like a street sign mixed in, all this mingled, what used to be the walls of the home and the roof of the home, just totally wrapped around this palm tree right here. And look at it, just completely shattered. This is what 140-mile-per-hour winds do, and again, just not safe to have been here. Now, a lot of the major damage like this are on homes that were built pre-Andrew, so we're talking in the 60s and 70s. That's what we're seeing, some of the worst of the damage. When across the street, this is a neighborhood of manufactured homes, and this home was built up to code and held up pretty well. So it really goes to show you the house is built up to code, didn't suffer as much damage, but the houses that weren't saw more of the devastation. And here on their footsteps, on their front porch, or what used to be potentially their porch, you can see the inside of their house, their chandelier still intact, but glass all over the place. This is where they probably had dinner at, and the kitchen's just right there in the back. Look at the crooked pictures there on the wall. I mean, it is really sad to see. Lampshades just littered around, and there's glass pretty much everywhere, mangled wires here in this house, and it breaks my heart to see this. The good news is the owners of the home were not here. They were elsewhere in safety, and this is why it's so important to evacuate, especially if you live in a house that's not built up to code. You want to get out, away from the danger, and just to get to safety. We interviewed FEMA, as they have been out here in Naples, and they say if you come home and want to assess the damage, what you can do is go to your insurance company as you're coming home from your places of safety. What you want to do is contact your insurance company, take pictures and let them know the damage, and then go from there. Now, if it's significant, you want to get a hold of FEMA. They said they would, your best bet is actually go online and contact them rather than waiting on the phone, especially with all the call volumes expected. Again, we're here in Naples, Florida, one of the worst hit cities in the state, and it's just saddening to see such a kind of destruction. You know, we made it through Wilma back in 2005. That was a direct hit here for Naples as well. But I have to say, the damage is much more widespread and much more severe with this storm than it was with Wilma. So that kind of puts things into perspective of just how powerful this was. And we've been talking about the comparison between Harvey and Irma, both major catastrophic storms. I think Harvey will go down and be remembered for all of its flooding and just out of this world rainfall totals, where Irma will be more of its destruction and wind damage. Just how big of a wind field, of course, one of the largest power outages caused by weather in American history. And it's just, it's crazy to see the power of these storms and how far-reaching the winds can be, and just how destructive the winds are. We've been driving in and around my hometown and just seeing damage left and right. You know, we will rebuild. Naples is a city full of strong-hearted people, and they are going to get things back up on their feet and back up and running. But it's hard when you don't have power. And that's what we want everyone to know who's deciding, okay, should I stay where I am, or should I come back and kind of assess the damage? Wait till your neighbors say, or you have friends in town to say, oh, we have power. That's when you will probably want to come home, because I can tell you, if you're coming home and you have no power, some people here can't use their water. You're pretty much useless here, because it's so uncomfortable inside with this Florida heat. You're not going to be getting sleep. You're not going to be able to, unless you have a generator and know how to properly use it, you're not going to be able to get any, aftermath cleanup done, because your chainsaws won't work. You're not going to be able to cook or have a hot meal or a hot shower, and some people can't even use their water. So keep that in mind. Traffic's just been horrendous along some of the interstates, especially I-75 southbound and also I-10 eastbound. Just to kind of put things into perspective here, FEMA directors went from Tallahassee to here early this morning, and it took them nearly 20 hours on what should be a 6-hour drive. So just out of this world damage, and just crazy results of everyone trying to return. Just stay put where you're at, and things will get back together. The power crew said about 60% of FPL's customers are restored, and I can tell you that number will continue to go up as they're working tirelessly to get everything done. But as far as the damage goes, I've never quite seen anything like this. This is the worst damage I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes, and to have it be in my own hometown is a little heartbreaking. But I know they're going to recover and give it a few months, and it'll be hard to even tell there was a hurricane that went through here. That's how strong-willed these people are. So always good news, a fine array of hope. Of course, we haven't heard of any significant injuries here in Collier County. For them getting directly hit, that alone is awesome news. Everyone has either left or was taking shelter and heeded those warnings, and I think that we'll remember that from Irma, how well prepared the state was and how well prepared people were in advance. And I mean, from start to finish, from the preparations in advance of the storm nearly a week ago, through the duration of those who rode out the storm, and now the aftermath, it's an exhausting process, and that alone can take its toll on people as well. So although riding out the storm is scary itself, it's exhausting preparing your house and also cleaning up afterwards. So we'll keep you up to date with the latest here on the Weather Channel. We don't want to forget about the folks out west who are dealing with wildfires, which is just as destructive, and we just have a heart for y'all. Stay safe, and we know that snow is coming for the northern Rockies. So while that may not be what the news people want to hear, it's actually going to be helpful, especially with the firefighters. So take care, y'all. We'll keep you up to date with the latest here in Florida and right here on the Weather Channel throughout the rest of the week.